This meditation that we just listened, very nice, no? So it's done, Guruji gave this during COVID days. In those days, it used to be, there used to be a meditation at lunchtime, just before lunch and just before dinner. So, right. We chant the 9th chapter, starting from the 8th stanza. Prakritim swamavashtabhya visrujami punah punaha.
Prakritim swamavashtabhya visrujami punaha punaha.
Bhutagramamimam kritstam avasham prakritir vashat.
Bhutagramamimam krishnam avasham prakritirvashat.
Nacha mam tani karmani nibadnanti dhananjaya.
Nacha mam tani karmani nibaddanti dhananjaya.
Udasinavadasinam
Udasinamavasidam
Mayadhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam.
Mayadhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam.
Hetunanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate.
Hetunanena kaunteya jagadviparivartate.
Avajananti mamudaha manushim tanumashritam.
Avajananti mamudaha manushim tanumashritam.
Param bhavamajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram.
Param bhavamadhananto mama bhuta maheshwaram.
Mokasha moka karmano moka jnana vichetasaha.
Mogasha moga karmano moga jnana vichetasaha.
Rakshasi masurim chaiva prakritim mohinim shritaha.
Rakshasi masurim chaiva prakrutim mohinim shritaha.
Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritimashritaha.
Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakrutimashritah.
Bhajanyananya manaso jnatma bhutadimavvyayam.
Bhajantyananya manaso jnatva bhutadimavyayam.
Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavritaha.
Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavrataha.
Namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate.
Namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate.
Jnana yagyena chapyanye yajanto mam upasate.
Jnana yajnena chapyanye yajanto mamupasate.
Ekatvena pritaktve bahuda vishvato mukham.
Ekatvena pritaktvena bahuda vishvato mukham.
Aham kraturaham yajnaha swadaham
Aham
Aham
kraturah
kraturaham yajnah
स्वदाहमहमौषधम्
स्वधाहमहमौषधम्
Mantroham ahamevajyam ahamagniraham hutam.
मन्त्रोऽहमहमेवाज्यम्
वाज्यम्
महमग्निरहं हुतम्
अहमग्निरहं हृतम्
Pitahamasya jagato mata tata pitamaha.
पिताहमस्य जगतो
पितामहस्य जगतो
माता धाता
माता धाता
पितामहः
पितामहः
Vedyam pavitramomkara Riksamayajureva cha.
वेद्यं
वेद्यं
पवित्रमोङ्कारः
पवित्रमुद्गार
रुक्सामयजुरेव च
ऋक्सामयजुरेव च जुरेव च
So, so here in these earlier verses, he's been talking about, his glories and so forth. And now he gets into how different people perceive him. And then he's also going to talk about, in order to reach him, what are some of the steps. And these steps will be covered in multiple chapters. So he gets into some of them in this chapter. So the 11th verse, which is we ended at the 10th verse, the 11th verse. So till the 10th verse, it was all Ishwa Swarupam, right? If you look at the entire
Sir, network has a problem.
me, but I'm not in the midst of all, the impressions and the characteristics of each and every person. All of that he covers. So here, 11th verse onwards, he's going to get into a little bit about going down a little bit, right, to the level of our level, right? So 11th verse, he says, fools, Muda, right? If you see the word Muda, right, this word Muda gets used in Bhagavad Gita, it's used in a lot of scriptures, and it's not meant to say that people are fools. It is just to, awaken us, right? Why is he saying that we are fools? So he says, fools people, regard me as somebody who's in a human form. See, till now, right, till for even Arjuna, till we get into the 11th chapter, 10th or 11th chapter, Krishna will be referred to still as a human being by Arjuna. And if you look at 99% or 90 plus percentage of the people in the world, they look at they look at God as still, as an object, whether it's in the form of an idol somewhere. You take anything, right? Whether it is even in any respect of religion, there is more of a symbol. The symbolism is not understood by many. Still, people regard that as a human form, right? Even go one step, gurus, whether it is any of the acharyas, Adi Shankaracharya, or any of the gurus that are there now, etc. People still look at a Dadiwala. Why is he doing that? Why is he doing that, etc. So many people put some characteristics, put some judgments in terms of how they look, how they talk, etc., etc., not realizing what they are about. So for us, yeah, we may not see the God, but we see all the saints, right? We see all the revered saints. People sometimes get caught on what they do and then see, oh, it's not what guru does, etc., etc., right? So, so fools regard me. So, but he says the higher form is what I am. So what is he saying here, right? So there is a Purusha, there is a Ishvara, who is the total mind, and then there is a Prakriti, which is the nature. So everything that we see around, that we perceive around, comes under the so-called Prakriti or nature. So what we see as nature, everything around us is nature. I am also part of that nature. Right. When I say nature, my body, my mind, my intellect, everything is part of my nature. So what I am made up of and what I do every minute, what thoughts come to me is only enabled by him. but I am what I am because of myself. So from a higher existence, my existence cannot be without him, the higher nature. But what I'm at a lower level, right? My feelings, my impressions, my day-to-day activities. Who governs all that? It is me. He just enables, just satastu. So my lower nature, right? When my nature, it's another thing itself that you can say as a human being, there are, which we may not say about all living beings, but a human being has got that, right? That there's a lower nature, there's a higher nature. A lower nature is all, you can say it in multiple ways, right? Body, mind, intellect, memory, ego, etc. You can also say it from the, from the 5 elements that we are made up of. We can also talk about the gunas that we are made up of. All of them come under lower nature. And then there is a higher nature, the jivatma that is there in each and every one of us. That governs that enables, that's just an enabler that actually, it's like the electricity giving the power for a bulb to run. But what I do with that bulb, how powerful is that bulb, right? How many watts it is, how big of, how much speed that I put on the fan is all up to the fan. You can't say that is based on the electricity, right? So similarly, he's saying here, idol is just a symbol. The national flag that we have in, right? That's what we have to understand, right? What I am therefore, so my misery, who's responsible for my misery? I am. Who's responsible for my happiness right now? I am. He's just an enabler. But it's based upon all the things that I do. It's a simple cause and effect. Right?
I think sir is breaking or what?
No, I'm here. It's just for a moment, I lost it. Are you all there? Okay.
Yeah, yes. I think
So-
2-3 times it has happened, sir.
What has
Two, three
happened?
times. Yeah, interruption happened.
I probably must have closed my eyes here, and then, so I might have not noticed it. So here we have to just look at this, come out of this misconception that, I did so many things, I'm suffering. I go to temples, I did this, I did that, I'm suffering. Or, my elder person is suffering. Somebody, right, go through, sometimes we have this concept, right? Or a particular place, something tragic happened. Why is it happening, etc., etc. And this is attributed, so everything there that comes down to nature. So this word nature is prakriti. The word nature comes in English, right? Nature, we normally look at nature as something outside, the plants, except our own nature, my nature is governed by me, right? And so in that prakriti, you have to look at, all these constituents, right? My intellect, my thoughts, my gunas. My gunas govern my thoughts, right? So let's look at it this way, right? So it is not that gunas are the, primordial base based upon which everything happens. To the extent that my gunas are getting mature, getting more sattvic in nature and less tamasic and rajasic, to that extent, my thoughts also become mature. Isn't it? So that is what we have to understand. And this particular stanza is very powerful. It just stays, we have to understand that there is a higher nature. in the absence of the higher nature, which is, Paramatma, nothing happens at a lower level. Everything that happens. So when he says Prakriti, it is not that Prakriti is another entity. Prakriti is just all the matter, all the things that you and I are able to perceive. That's about all that we have to see. Everything that's in a manifested form comes under Prakriti. Anything that's in an unmanifested form is the total mind, is the Paramatma. So that's what he's stressing in this 11th stanza. He goes on to the 12th stanza. He talks about things that we do. That's and he again, if you see the 12th stanza, the words used, he uses the word mogasha, moga karman, moga jnana vichetasaha. He looks at everything, knowledge as a vain knowledge. What knowledge? Not knowledge of, knowledge as in materialistic knowledge. It is not to say getting a degree is a waste, getting a medical degree or a lawyer degree, etc. is a waste. It's not that. He's saying in pursuit of all of this, if you're not getting into the knowledge of yourself, then it is a vain knowledge. Because this knowledge will take you only to some point, till the point you retire. Maybe after retirement you consult. Right? But you don't take this anywhere after that. And the second thing is this knowledge that we talk about, whether it is, all the inventions, etc. This knowledge keeps changing. Einstein's knowledge of relativity is questioned. Right? Newton's knowledge is questioned. Right? What inventions that were done 10 years back are questioned. Right? So more So in that sense, on the other hand, the ultimate knowledge is it's the ultimate truth. Never will change, has always been there, exists today, will exist forever. And that is the truth. And it is only in the, and it is that ultimate truth, right, enables that even this other knowledge to happen. Right. So today, whatever is AI or whatever was internet some years back, and whatever was an incandescent bulb, the Edison did, etc. Right. Yes, Edison must have invented. That's how it is on paper. How was it enabled? Only in his presence. So therefore, he's stressing in the stanza, right, that see the limitation all of these. It's not to say that these are not important. See that there are limitations, that it does not going to take you, especially when you look at what you carry forward from one life into the next life. All of this has got limitation. Start spending time on yourself. Is the stress in this. And then he talks about empty desires. Empty. Because desires, are there, right? Why do we go for desires? Because somewhere we see some happiness coming in. So nothing wrong with it, but it has got also its own limitations. A desire gets fulfilled, triggers one more thing, right? You get all the possessions that you want in this life, based upon your desires. Only one small, health problem will negate all of it. Right? Somebody has got all the things in the bank balance, but falls ill or has got blood pressure or diabetes, not able to eat anything. What use is everything? Can't touch many things on the plate. So all of these, mixes, gives us a, what you call an alarm bell sometimes, right? That, there is more to life than just this. So whether it is that or some accident or something or the other, that's the reason people, we always go through different experiences, which is part of nature, to make us awaken, to awaken us on all of this. So therefore, he says, don't get preoccupied by all these things. You remember in when we touched upon Bhajagovindam some time back, I think, I don't remember many, all the verses. One of the verses, what was it? It was Muda Jahihi Dhanagamatrishtam Kuru Sadbhuddhin Manasi Vitrishtam Yallabase Nija Karmopatam Vittam Tena Vinode Chittam. You remember? What is it? That first Muda person is a fool who's after worldly possessions. And what are those possessions driven by? Nothing but desires. So therefore, just making us aware that all of them have, and he says these are, see the second line of these Rakshasim Asurim Chaiva. It seems like a very strong word used, right? He says that people who have so much into cravings, into this, are simply having the attributes of a Rakshasa or an Asura. Now you see, Rakshasa, they're all having. See, we have to look at this Rakshasi as more about arms and what they might be doing, to others, right? Harming. Here you're harming yourself with all of these things in the mind. That's what he's saying. So it is not necessary that everything has to be physical in nature. Even a mental thing of cursing somebody is as harmful as hurting through using, what you call a knife or something, right? So Rakshasim Asurin Chaiva Prakritim Mohinim Sta. So he just is, just awakening us and all of this thing. On the other hand, going to the 13th stanza, people who are Mahatmas, Mahatmanastu Mam Partha. Like people Partha, people who are Mahatmas, great souls. So here, great souls doesn't mean here somebody, like a Swami away by the word. So here he's saying people, they are more coming close to my divine nature. And what do they do? And what are some of their attributes? It says that, these people, they spend a lot of time in my nature. So they do a lot of worship, a lot of devotion. And they understand that, there is that my imperishable Prakriti, that I'm everywhere. That that I should be that there is a supreme force that's governing everything in my life, and that I should always be in the presence or be connected to that higher presence. Now, how do we do that? Gets talked about starting from the 14th verse. So in all of this, touching upon, right, if you go back to the 12th, 13th verses, what are some of the things that we should all remember? I remember a couple of examples that one of the Swamijis used to say, when you all eat a food, correct? And we normally, keep some main items and etc. Then there is also any meal you go to, there's always a pickle that's placed. In fact, we go to any weddings, before even the main course, there's a pickle placed there. The pickle is just a small side dish, right? It only used occasionally, sparingly as required, isn't it? And on the other hand, all the other main items, right, is to be used as a main course of meal. So, comfort in our life, possessions in our life, has to be treated as a pickle. If I make the pickle as a main course of my meal, you know what would happen the next day to your stomach. Can we therefore, go use this pickle example in our life? The other one that I remember, that whether when we talk about all comforts, this one, that one, I should have this, I should have that, etc. It is also compared to that of an unwanted guest in your house. an unwanted guest in your house. You're just wondering, okay, how long is this person going to be here? When I say guest, it could be even a mosquito, it could be even a rat. I'm not talking about a physical person here. Right? The person, it comes as a guest, it just comes there. But it lingers on. And it starts becoming the host. It's now running the show there in that particular place. You leave it longer, it enslaves you. So what comfort does, what desires do, what craving does, initially it just comes as, I'm putting like a simple thought. And the thought then, starts residing. It's like the mainstay. Out of every 10 thoughts, 5 thoughts are about something. After that, it enslaves you. It just, grips you to the level that, you say, without it, I can't do anything. So these things we just have to remember, right? So all of these, what is he saying here? Look for a higher goal. Why are all these desires coming up? Because they're all low-level desires. I want this for this, or I want this for my son, I want this for my daughter, or for myself, etc. Your small kith and kin, right? All of these small things, petty things as they call it, and you don't get it, you get upset, etc. On the other hand, we have a higher goal, right? Whatever that, and Swami Chinmaya used to always say, don't look for a higher goal that is reachable within a year. Do something that is hard to reach. So the pursuit of reaching that itself will give you that happiness. See, it is not necessarily the goal by itself, right? It is a pursuit towards the goal that we have to look at. So if you go in the pursuit of that higher thing, what happens is that everything in your life, all small things come, petty things come, this one, that one, not okay here, this problem, health problem, somebody is not well, etc. It comes and it goes. Right? If you look at our own life, right? Is it that all problems that have come, even if it has been COVID times or whatever it has come and it has gone. But somehow when it comes, it just grips us. Hey, whoa, when is this going to go? When is this going to go? So, moving on, 14th stanza. Gita is always practical. That's the reason it is said that it is not just, some concept and here, after that, it's not applicable. So he starts with the word Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. Kirtanam. Word Kirtanam. All of us rhyme it with what? Some divine chants. Kirtana typically means bhajans, typically means some sankirtanas. Then he says Satatam. Satatam means all the time. So he says the quality of a noble person that he referred to in the previous stanza is one who is singing my glory all the time, 24/7. You might wonder, how is that possible? I can't be sitting with my, singing his glory all the time. So we have to hear, not relate, take it as a literal thing. Kirtan means bhajan. What does singing the glory mean? See, glory doesn't have to be, glory. One way of doing it is, you chant certain chants where there is, where there's always the Falashruti, you'll say, right? If you do this once, you'll get this. If you do this 2 times, you'll get this. So 3 times, you'll get this, etc. All of that is what? Start speaking about glories. If you do this will happen. You can always also look at this Satatam in terms of gratitude, in terms of, appreciation. Whenever something good is happening, that, it is His glory based on which I'm here. The fact that I'm sitting in this class itself is His blessing. The fact that I'm able to chant this, a particular mantra that I learned only yesterday comfortably is His blessing, right? All of them are singing His glory. So when we do Shravanam, Mananam, Nitityasanam, it's all His glory. So, and doing dharmic actions is His glory. So any form of a worship. So worship doesn't have to be That's the reason worship is not always considered only a prayer in the Swami room for 20 minutes that we do. It is in all the actions that we do, the mindset with which we do, and also being in the midst of people, satsanga, people with similar traits, where you're able to share things. This wonderful thing happens. I'm so feeling so grateful that this thing happened. You're singing his glory. So therefore, he's saying, Satatam kirtayantu maam. Dridhavrataha. What is Dridhavrataha? Somebody who follows vrata. Resolution. Something that takes you into an uncomfortable zone. Isn't it? See, anything that is comforting, no problem. People will do it, but you don't learn a whole lot. But you're put into an uncomfortable zone. Let's say you have to say today, no eating whole day, fasting. Whether it is liquid fasting or, whatever fasting, that one definition can vary from person to person. But some fasting or abstaining from any opening your mouth. Or just simply saying abstaining from eating, what you call eating something that I love to eat, not eating that for a couple of days. Could be anything. All of these willpower needs commitment. It needs a determination. No matter what, I'm not going to do it. Yeah, it might seem like a forcibly doing it. It might be saying, I'm making myself devoid of it. But over a period of time, and that's the reason we write Ekadashi do this, Amavasya do this, during Navaratri do this. People follow this, right? All of them are meant for cleansing. Even though it might seem like, actions that are forcibly done at times, but that forcibly gets integrated into the system as something, it's good. I feel better. Somewhere I feel I can handle things, right? I can be without certain things. So, satatam kirtayantam itantascha upasate. Then he talks about bhaktya nitya yuktaha. Somebody who is prostrating. Prostrating means what? You can say prostrating. Or taking refuge in one. All of this comes under this. Whatever that worship means to you, all of them come under this. So here he's saying. So again, when he talks about what each one of us can do as to become, having some of that Mahatma quality, it varies from one person to the other. Right? If you go to a villager sitting, in a village. That person, may just say, I like to chant Ram, this thing, what is that? Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, all day. And there are people who do that, right? Just Akhanda Bhajan, just sing one thing, or just say Om Namah Shivaya whole day. Or, do Pradakshina, of a temple 108 times. So each one, depending on where they are in terms of maturity, temperament, ability, etc., will do that what comes to them. So all of these come under, so it's not that everything has to be done. It is whatever your belief, you're able to do, and where you are in a mental state governs in terms of what all you can do. So in all of this, one thing that comes to my mind is there's a reference in Kathopanishad. In Kathopanishad, our body is compared to that of a body. Body is compared to that of a chariot. A chariot, right? It's a chariot. If you take the Mahabharata, this is a chariot. So there is a chariot. There's a person who is driving the chariot. There are a set of horses, and there are reins that are maneuvering those horses to do whatever it is. These are all the different elements. So the body is a chariot. The horses is the mind. Sorry, the horses are the senses. And what governs what governs the horses is the reins. Reins are the mind. And what drives the rein is the charioteer, which is the intellect. So you understand the importance of, knowledge, right? Which is there as part of your intellect. That, is able to maneuver those horses, maneuver, the mind, so that the senses don't go amok. Senses are, given a certain thing. And that is what is done in all these vratas, right? I say senses, shut up. By what? By my intellect, by my knowledge, by my determination. So, mind has a role to play, senses have a role to play, but if they if they are running the show and everything and not let the intellect do its work, life goes for a toss, right? On the other hand, the more I hold the rein, using my knowledge, using my wisdom constantly, right, and not run the mind go amok, that is when life is better. So 15th verse, he builds on this one. 15th verse, he talks about other people who might be a bit more evolved, or maybe of a different temperament. Maybe I would call it evolved, maybe of different type. Jnana yagyena chapyante. So for some, they may soak in the wisdom. They may soak in the bhajans, etc. See, but I want to know more. I want to know more. What is this God all about? Why is this happening to me, etc., etc. Multiple questions come. So that is where jnana yajna comes in. Jnana yajna means what? Jnana yajna. So if you see the word yajna, and why is it jnana yajna? It's always I used to always wonder earlier, right? We go to Gita jnana yajna. I remember way back when in my college days, my Swami Chinmayan used to conduct these Gita Jnana all over the place. And Gita Jnana chapter 2, Gita Jnana chapter 4. So Gita always makes sense, Jnana makes sense. Why is it yajna? Why is that word yajna being used? Because typically yajna we refer to as something like in a homa where you offer something to the fire, and there's a mantra that is chanted, divine hymns, Vedic chants that are chanted. So yajna there makes perfect sense. Why Gita Jnana Yajna? What is yajna got to do with jnana? Right? So what happens in a yajna? Right? We offer something, right, as an offering, right? So, and what is that fire? That fire then, with its power, is able to put to dust anything that is offered. Right? Similarly, with knowledge is equivalent to fire. Fire, so there is a fire in me, right? There's a fire in me is what? That I have some, lot of things that I've gained. That fire in me is going to make this happen. Don't we say that sometimes in English? What is that fire? That fire is the knowledge, the wisdom that I've gained. And once I've done it, just like the fire in the homa, in a regular homa, physical homa, puts to dust everything, only the knowledge can negate the misconceptions that I might have carried till date, wrong notions that I might have carried till date. So that is the reason it's referred to as yajna. So the power of knowledge is equivalent to that of a fire. Just like the fire, effortlessly puts everything to dust. Similarly, over and over, the knowledge, knowledge that we gain. Here again, when we're talking about knowledge, we are not talking about the materialistic knowledge that we talked about earlier. It is knowledge about us, knowledge about our higher nature. Not knowledge about the lower nature, but the higher nature. So that knowledge, is like a fire. That fire can slowly and steadily burn out all things, misconceptions that I might have, and makes me then, therefore, have a better life, right? A life with maturity, a life with which I'm able to do things. I'm able to have a better relationship, whatever it is. Everything comes automatically when the knowledge is there. And that is the reason, the word ignorance is used in I'm ignorant of this, I'm ignorant. When people normally think ignorance means ignorant about worldly life. Not at all. Ignorance in Vedic stance always comes about not having knowledge about the self. And having knowledge over a period of time, as we build it, is just the opposite. So it is my ignorance based on which I don't understand how to live a life or how to handle desires. But once I gain the knowledge, I see that the desires are there. It comes and goes. It serves a limited purpose. There's more to it, right? I have the knowledge that I should seek for a higher goal in my life. All of these things automatically come. So if you look at these two verses, right, it is addressing devotion. It is addressing connection with God. It is addressing also the knowledge based upon each and every one. And all of this, what are we doing here? There's a connection that's happening with God. If you see it from another angle, right? We can connect in multiple ways, but one way to look at this is through the mind, intellect. How do we do? Through knowledge. Thinking about him, listening to some pravachans, or contemplating on whatever you've understood, learned, or internalizing it as wisdom. That comes under the mind, connecting the Lord. From the speech, using your mouth, what do we do? Kirtans, bhajans, chanting. And then through the body itself, seva, right? Doing actions, physical actions that, where you're serving some needy person, etc. And when I do all of this, what am I doing? I am in the space of that Mahatma that he's referring to here earlier. And what does the divine do? The divine is taking care of each and every. He's a sustainer, he's an enabler, he's a blesser, everything. And when you and I do any actions that serves a need, as he would be operating. Right. Similarly, when we are in the space of Kirtan, continuously or singing his glory, we're connected. So therefore, in all of this, right, we can just see that these are things that we can all look at in a day-to-day, 24/7 that we are awake. Night, of course, only the deep sleep we get to experience some of this thing, right? But but in the waking state, how much are we connected is what we have to contemplate on. So we'll continue from here. We'll probably reflect on what we just went through here. Would like to talk about anybody? Would like to
Pickle
share?
simile is good, sir.
Huh?
Pickle simile is good, sir, actually. It's being used as a pickle. But in practical scenario, if you see, many of them are using like a main course only. Right, sir?
Yeah, I know.
We're all behind the comfort and desire and whatnot.
Talking about pickle itself, I remember once in my young days, I was in a sharing, with friends before marriage. And the person was an Andhra person. He had gogura pickle. And he was just eating rice and gogura pickle all the time. I'm going here. Where is anything else here at all? That's all he had. I went to his house for dinner. And he said, I got gongura pickle from Andhra. I've got rice. That's what we're going to have. I was burning and fuming after eating that, but anyway, that's the second story. So,
But there is a contrast also here that, generally they say in Tamil, Mata Utadi, Manga Utidumanga. So they just, if whatever the kids or anybody don't eat, if you give a little pickle, it enables them to eat well. So there is also a contrasting thought.
it is not a contest, right? It is just again, you take only a small quantity of it, right? It is not, see, just like a salt, right? You sprinkle the salt only to the extent that you want, just a small piece. Anything overdone, you can't eat the entire thing, correct? So it's like that. Salt, pickle, they all come under the same example. Shalini, Shanti, anything? Bhavani?
So in the 11 years, as you said, we have to understand that we are responsible for all our miseries and happiness. That actually triggers a lot. All the time, people don't think so.
You're always putting a blaming finger, right?
Yes.
Terrible, nature is terrible. You see all the headlines in the newspaper. Anything bad happens, they'll put all things blaming somebody else.
Yeah. Yes, sir. This power of knowledge is analogous to fire is also a very good, a very good thing that says that can burn out misconceptions, right? So that's also a very good, strong this thing I feel. And if you look at all the stanzas we talked, we are saying that okay, whatever knowledge you have gained externally, if you have not gained your inner, if you're not able to know your inner self, then it's a waste. Which, when I say it's a waste, it means that if you don't have that inner knowledge or inner clarity, you cannot also do your outer. This thing is what I feel properly.
Yeah.
That is one.
See, one misconception before we on that topic, right? People normally think that spiritual life and materialistic life don't go together. Actually, they go together very well.
Yes.
If you are more in the spiritual life, your materialistic life, your corporate life, whatever you call it, actually is much more balanced. When we talk about human, work-life balance, etc., it's a misnomer. You do something on the spirituality side, your worldly life, you can call it your corporate life, is actually balanced by itself.
Yeah.
It's not that you have to do something, where I have to chill in some, Hawaii, etc., to really get that chillness or something, right?
Yeah.
So again, misconception.
And sir, this is very, very relevant because even last week I was into some discussion. Okay, so there was some trigger and so there was some survey done or something like that, and it didn't go much in my favor. Looks like okay. So I just thought okay, it is something okay, and I almost thought okay, it is nothing of much consequence. Anyway, it can be. Then suddenly somebody talks about it. Then again your mind gets very disturbed. Then again you will have to come back. I was just remembering remembering that Arjuna and Krishna's discussion, right? Your mind goes some 1,000 miles. Again you'll have to come back. You'll have to come back, and then that really gave me some kind of strength to just come out of that of that mind manifesting itself into so many different thoughts, right? So it's, I think by knowing this, right, what helps you is at least you will be, as you said, you can even get your balance in your everyday day-to-day life. And what I liked there, I think what I understood is that in order to have that internalize that, in order to know that internal knowledge also or self-knowledge also, that's where you need to do that kirtanam and, you have said right. That is, one is by singing the glory, then by three things you said, no, sir. One was
also vratas, right? The vrata was another one we talked about.
Yeah. So Anyway, I think knowing inner self helps you to get a lot of clarity and helps you to actually yeah, actually take positivity in the negative situation. That's what I feel.
Absolutely. You're right. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
Jai Gurudev.
Statement what
Jai Gurudev. Yeah. Jai Sudha. Go on.
No, I was saying a statement what sir said, and the corporate life and spiritual life actually goes together. It is very true. I mean, last week we didn't have that class, no, sir. Somehow or the other, I felt very disturbed. I was not able to control actually too much of pressure in office also. And
Yeah.
we didn't have this medicine also in weekend. So it became very stressful. I could actually make sense that I'm not under my control times actually. So this really helps.
Jairam sir.
Sir, I feel now we have to actually, in a way, we are all struggling to concentrate on any one thing what we want to choose actually. So many things influences us, so many, the power of knowledge, as you said, the very big learned people, when you go and sit in front of them, they put you something, they induce, neither you can leave them nor you can take it. We are into, most of the times we are confused whether to eat gongura or to something else like that.
That is good.
Every time it happens. For me, though, it happens more. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Even
you have a lot
doctors-
of circle of influence, a lot of people, right? So you have to deal with many people.
Yeah, that's what. See, when I sit in the class, after class few hours, okay, I will decide something. Once I get into the temple, something else. Like that, I'll be more, instead of, I don't know what now I am thinking, just now I'm thinking, what are all the things that I should leave? Only then I can concentrate on so and so. I'm thinking now, but I know very well that it will not last long for more than an hour. Anyhow, thank God for giving us this also as part of it, which may take us to somewhere. I don't know where.
Yeah, Bhavaniji, want to say something?
Jai Gurudev. Well, water is flowing in me. I'll try to share it as the first sloka which talked about forms, and we sticking to the forms is one thing. And also he also said that it's okay to stick to a form and do it, and also it's okay to worship without a form. That is not important. How the mind is inside by going through the form or without the form is what matters. Let's take the world outside. The world outside, let's say the Ganges coming from Shiva's, they say, flows through all the to tributaries and all that, through whatever God-given path or whatever it is. When man tries to mess up all that and makes this and all that, it comes up. Same like that, when the Guru's form is there, what happens is when everything flows from that with the practice which happens. What happens is it flows like the Ganges which goes untouched by man. It flows like the Ganges to different things, and the Guru paves the way for all these. Where there are dry forests, he brings rains. Where there are this, he brings fire, where things to be burned. That is how I feel the form has helped me all through, right, all these 30 years of my spiritual practices. This is what happens. I think with form or without form, basically how the form takes you within and who sustain yourself within by practicing at the gross level every day. Because we don't have to go to 18 step. We just keep at one step all the time. All the 17 steps he takes you. That's how I feel, that only the gross thing we neglect, we go to the highest level. Try all these things. That's why the chants, this visiting temple, going to Guruji and coming back, darshan, after that, after some time, after short span of time, we get back to the same state of mind. And I feel that it's so beautiful when you experience it, that wherever you are, if you are doing with the practices and all that, the Bhagavad Gita, Ramesh's group, everything comes up to it. Surya, all those teachers, all these people, blessings, chants, everything, relationship, everything changes. And that is what he said in this chapter, I think, that always there are so many ways to reach God. What do you say? I hope
absolutely. Yeah. Very nice. Echoed it very nicely. Thank you so much. So we'll close here. We'll just do the chanting. Om. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Hari Om, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Shri Guru.
Thank you, everyone. Take a good day.
Hari Om. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you.
Thank you.